Pathfinder is about more than just fighting monsters. In fact, combat encounters are only one of the 3 modes of gameplay. Encounter mode is for intense moments when time needs to be tracked in 6-second increments called rounds. Like for combat, downtime tracks time in days, weeks, or months, and is used between adventures for relaxing, retraining, or working on long-term goals. Everything in between is exploration mode, which includes traveling, researching, dungeoneering, socializing, and recuperating. In other words, adventuring. The Game Master will describe you a situation that your characters are in. The players will then respond with what they do in that situation. The Game Master will then ask for any necessary D20 rolls, possibly assign you an exploration activity, more on that later. Then the Game Master will describe the new situation in response to the player character's actions. The process then repeats. The key resource of exploration mode is time. As you explore and go on adventures, time will pass in-universe, and it's up to you to use that time wisely. In some cases, time might not matter. You might be leisurely traveling from one town to another in search of adventure, but what if the regional tax collector has just been kidnapped by a bugbear and is locked away in an abandoned watchtower? Now every hour that passes means the tax collector is in more and more danger. Let's go through some specific examples of exploration mode. Let's say you need to travel 5 miles to get from the town to the abandoned watchtower. The rule about traveling is that as a group, you only travel as fast as your slowest party member. So let's say you have 2 party members with a move speed of 30 feet and a party member with a move speed of 25 feet. As a group, your move speed is 25 feet. How fast can you go 5 miles? Each increment of time is fairly easy to calculate. With a move speed of 25 feet, then you can move 250 feet in 1 minute, 2,500 feet in 10 minutes, and then 2.5 miles in 1 hour. If you're traveling multiple days, you can travel for 8 hours every day. The math works if you consider 1 mile equal to 6,000 feet. So for 5 miles, it takes a simple 2 hours. What if you wanted to get there faster? People use horses, right? We can see that a horse has a move speed of 40 feet, which is easily converted to 4 miles per hour. That means if you take horses, you can arrive at the watchtower in 1 hour and 15 minutes. Once you get to the watchtower, it's time to go inside. Traveling inside works exactly the same as traveling outside, except you might use a different time scale. With a move speed of 25 feet, you can go 250 feet per minute. If you're using a battle mat, that might be easy to calculate, but I can also abstract it to say each room is about 50 feet. So you can enter 5 rooms per minute, assuming you do nothing in them except pass through. The Game Master might ask you to be more specific about how you're going to explore the watchtower. Every player character can describe their actions differently, but depending on how they're described, the Game Master will assign an exploration activity. We'll look at 3 activities today. Search forces you to move at half speed and at a maximum speed of 300 feet. If you're searching, the Game Master will roll a perception check for you when you enter a new room and search for traps, secret doors, and hidden enemies. If you succeed at perceiving anything hidden in the room, the Game Master will tell you what looks suspicious so you can stop for a closer look. For example, if there's a secret door, the Game Master won't tell you that there's a secret door, they'll just say that there's a weird wall. If you want to make sure you get a perception check before you accidentally trigger any traps, then you can only move up to 150 feet per minute. A trap is a type of hazard. It helps to think of hazards just like an enemy creature, except with limited abilities and actions every round. Hazards even give you experience, just like defeating creatures. There's 3 different types of hazards: traps, environmental hazards, and haunts. We'll talk about simple traps today. Simple traps have some trigger that's usually a reaction or a free action. As soon as you perform the action that triggers the trap, the reaction happens. If the trigger is a reaction, it can only happen for one creature, but if it's a free action, it can happen to anything that triggered the trap. If the hazard is only a simple hazard instead of a complex hazard, it is triggered and then finished. The triggering creature will probably get a saving throw. A pit trap might grant a reflex save to grab the edge. Simple hazard, triggered and finished. The only complicated part about hazards are detecting them and defeating them outside of encounter mode. A hazard will usually have either a stealth bonus or a stealth DC. Remember, you can turn any bonus into a DC just by adding 10. In theory, all player characters automatically will get a perception check to see if they detect the hazard. If they beat the DC, they detect it. However, if a hazard has a minimum perception proficiency, player characters do not automatically get a perception check. They only get a perception check if their perception both meets the minimum proficiency and they either specifically use the seek action or are in the search exploration activity. That's why the search activity is so useful. Without at least one character using it, you might have no chance whatsoever at even detecting a highly dangerous trap. So you've detected a trap. What now? You can use the activity Descend disable a device. Disable a device is a 2-action activity that requires a thievery check to disable a trap. You need to be at least trained at thievery. Other hazards might have other checks or techniques to overcome them, such as defeating quicksand with a nature check. Avoid notice is another exploration activity. When you avoid notice, you must also move at half speed, so you can still keep up with any friends that are searching. Normally, when you encounter a hostile monster, all creatures will roll initiative using perception. However, if you are avoiding notice, you can roll stealth instead. Not only does this advantage sneakier characters, but if your stealth initiative roll is higher than a creature's perception DC, you start the encounter being unnoticed. There are 4 levels to stealth in Pathfinder, which are discussed in a later video. The important part is that if you're unnoticed, enemies don't know you're there and can't attack you. If you attack, the enemy is off guard to you. The final exploration activity we'll talk about is Hustle. Hustle allows you to move at double speed for a certain number of minutes equal to your Constitution times 10 for a minimum of 10 minutes. In a group, you use the lowest Constitution modifier. Also remember that the group only travels as fast as the slowest party member. So if you plan to hustle, everyone needs to do it. So you defeated the bugbear. You might be feeling a little worn out. How do you recuperate after a fight? There are many activities that take around 10 minutes to help recover. If you're trained in medicine and have healer's tools, you can use the action Treat Wounds. Treat Wounds is a DC 15 medicine check which heals the target 2d8 damage. On a critical success, you heal 4d8. In both cases, you also remove the wounded condition. If after 10 minutes you want to continue treating the target's wounds, you can spend 1 hour and double the amount of healing done. If you are more than trained in medicine, you can also optionally increase the DC of the medicine check to potentially do more healing. However, if you critically fail, the target takes 1d8 damage, so it could be a risk. If you're a GM watching this, if you know your player's perception proficiency, stealth, move speed, and constitution, you can easily make most relevant secret checks and calculations.